Hello, friends. It's me, Mr. Proft, coming to you from sunny Santa Monica, California. And for the past few weeks, we've been doing research on different kinds of trees. And what I mean by research is we've been reading texts, we've been reading stories, learning new facts, learning information about a subject, and then being able to tell other people what we learned. We've been looking at texts, little stories about trees, learning facts, and then putting those into writing. And so far, we've learned about a couple different kinds of trees. We did the sugar maple. We talked about that. We talked about the coastal redwood. We talked about the paper birch. And today we're going to be researching a new kind of tree. Let me show you what that is. I'm going to try to share my screen. Clickety click, clickety clack. Hit present mode. Bring it up. And the tree that we're going to be learning about now is called the weeping willow. And it's kind of interesting. The reason it's called the weeping willow is if you look at the weeping is another word for crying or being sad. And if we look at the way this plant has its branches are kind of hanging down, and it looked to people like it was sad, right? It was like, kind of like that. So that's why it's called the weeping willow tree. So some facts about the weeping willow. First of all, it needs lots of water. It needs lots of water. Every plant needs some water, but this one needs more than most. It won't grow in the desert. It won't grow in places that are dry. It only lives in places where there's a lot of water, where it rains a lot, or there's a lot of rivers, a lot of lakes, a lot of water for it to suck up. It also, just like any plant, needs some sun to survive. Some animals that depend on the weeping willow for food, birds will eat insects from inside the tree. I guess these trees kind of attract a lot of insects, a lot of bugs, and then birds will come by to eat those bugs. Deer will eat the leaves and twigs. Rabbits will also eat the leaves of a weeping willow. That's kind of interesting. I don't normally think of rabbits as eating leaves, but I guess they do. And beavers also like to chew on those trees to eat and also to build their little houses out of. Let's see some other facts. The weeping willow tree has long, thin branches that bend towards the ground. And that's what I was talking about. Most trees kind of grow up like this. The weeping willow, the branches grow down, which is why people think it was sad or it was weeping. The leaves have tiny holes for breathing on both sides, and the long branches and leaves provide shelter for many animals. So because the branches do come down all the way to the ground, small animals will like to hide in them and make their little nests inside of them. There we go. So we just did some research to learn about the weeping willow. Your writing assignment for today is to draw a detailed picture of the weeping willow. So draw a picture of the weeping willow and then write 2 important facts that you learned about the weeping willow. And of course, when you're done with that, you're going to have a grown-up take a picture and you're going to send that in to Miss Dana, or I send that in to your teacher. This is our last week of doing this, friends. This is our last week of new material. So let's try to do our absolute best, our best end of the school year coloring and our best end of the school year writing. All right, well, there you go. On behalf of Miss Dano and myself, Proft out. Click.